Okay, so the Men in the Midlands podcast is back. Today is our Super Bowl special, given that in which we will all be. I knew that was coming. We're all going to be supporting the Rams. Just like to make that very clear. And on Monday we will probably release a very quick reaction video, depending on whether the Patriots did actually win or not, which is what the NFL Network predicted.
Wow. As bad as I think they will.
I think they will too, and it will make me very depressed if they do. So we're just going to do a quick little bit of self-introduction, given that we didn't get a chance to do that in the first episode. So first of all, I'm George, and I am a level 7 referee living in Norfolk County at the moment, and I'm aiming for promotion over the next season or so. I am an Aston Villa fan, thanks to my dad.
Ooh.
Yeah, I had to see that coming. And I basically got into American sports a few years ago, just basically on a whim, and I ended up starting to follow ice hockey first, and then from there I got onto NFL, and the first NFL game I saw on Sky Sports was a Bengals game, which is why I'm a Cincinnati Bengals fan. And then from that, I went and saw MLB and NBA, which are both terrible sports in my opinion. And so I just,
we'll yay the NBA and boo the MLB.
So I just stick to hockey, football, and American football mainly. Yeah, moving on to Jacob.
Well, I had a pretty tortured childhood, I guess.
You make it sound so dark.
Oh, Jacob, you had it so
age of 5
hard.
onwards, I was taken to Pride Park Stadium every other Saturday to witness terrible things like losing.
Pride was the last thing you had.
Witnessing those 11 points, you know, that was what a great time that was. So I've been supporting Derby for a long time. There's been good times and bad times. Recently, it's been pretty good. You know, Derby have been a reasonably good team, but you know there have been some dark times as well. I first got into watching the NFL.
This is so depressing.
First got into
He
watching
does
the
milk
NFL
it,
back
doesn't
in 2011. Did I? That sounds about right.
I wouldn't know.
And I watched the Super Bowl between the Giants and the Patriots that year, and from that moment forward, I was
What a
Patriots
Super
fan.
Bowl, am I right?
Well, there we go. You know, I needed a team, so Patriots seemed like a logical decision.
Because you like glory,
Wow.
and because your UK football team wasn't giving you any.
No, not at that time, anyway.
Okay, moving on to Jamie and Yinzerland then, I guess.
Woo! Your boy over here grew up kind of hating sport. Not gonna lie.
I love that introduction to a sports podcast.
Yeah, no,
Excellent.
it wasn't until 2013, 2014 that I
That's
actually
worryingly recent.
yeah, it is. That I actually started to enjoy it, and I started to enjoy football a bit. Started following Leicester properly, with a bit of
Oh, I
help.
wonder what happened in 2013-14 that would make you start supporting
Yeah.
Leicester.
I wonder what happened in 2015-16 that meant you actually started talking about it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You will be.
I'm sorry. Okay, and then in 2016, I somehow got into the NFL because of George mainly,
Excellent.
and I was like, who does George support? The
Yeah.
Bengals.
So pick their biggest
would
rivals.
that mean that he would really hate me to support? Oh, the Steelers.
Such a
Yeah, I also started following MLB after the Super Bowl that year because I wanted something to watch that was on more than once a week, like football.
And he also wanted to torture himself, apparently.
I started following the MLB and I was like, who shall I support? I may as well stick with Pittsburgh. One of the worst decisions I've ever made.
Meanwhile, the Red Sox has been quite a good one for me. So
Yeah, should point out at this point that Jacob is a Boston fan because he is just the king of glory hunting.
Oh.
Okay, and also you play for the Oxford Lancers, which is like...
Oh yeah, that is true. I do now play American football.
As well.
Admittedly, well, I say play. Playing maybe like a bit optimistic. I attempt American football.
My influence is just so far-reaching. Okay, so moving on to our quiz for this week. We're going to start off with our wildcard round. So 2 random sports from across the world, although these are pretty close to home, I won't lie.
Do you know what else starts with a wildcard round?
What an easy question.
It's the NFL playoffs.
I mean, this is the Super Bowl special, so it is a valid comment, to be fair.
I'm not wrong, am I?
Well, no, but it was also completely unnecessary to say.
None of you are disputing me. I think I should get a point for that.
Right, okay. Our first question concerns rugby union.
Boo!
Jesus
We're going to
Christ.
start talking about league.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
We're going to cry. So, the Six Nations is obviously on at the moment, and at the time of recording, Wales managed to come back from behind to beat France. The English defeated the Irish very heavily, and nobody cares about the Scotland-Italy game. Nobody
I do. I'm very sad that Scotland won, because it means my Scottish stepdad will be gloating constantly.
He's going to love listening to this later.
Don't worry, he couldn't give less of a about this.
Fair. Okay, so the columnist Simon Barnes said that the best game of this year's Six Nations was going to be Wales v Ireland, which obviously whichever team loses, basically England needs to beat if they're going to have any shot at it either.
Yeah.
But my question to you is, when was the last time Ireland actually won a Grand Slam?
Ooh.
So Grand Slam is where they win all of the games, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Ooh. Jamie, I'm going to let you go first, as you're much more knowledgeable on this sport than I am.
I feel like this could be a trick question, and it was last year.
It's
But
not.
maybe I'm just...
It's
no,
not.
It's not. They did win it last year, though.
Yeah.
The last time they won it before that would have been 4 years ago, when there was that huge dramatic finish.
To be fair, the
guessing
Six
it's
Nations
not
is one of
that.
the few things that I actually do watch rugby
When
union
did they
wise.
win a grand?
As well as the Tigers.
I'm gonna say 2010, maybe.
Okay, Jacob, you got an
Unless
answer
he's
for me?
gone reasonably recent, I'm going to
Oh,
go a
don't-
little bit further back, because
Don't
Ireland,
do the dickhead move.
Ireland are a terrible nation, so we're going to go
Oh,
for
Jesus Christ!
2002.
I didn't realise we were going to get like IRA activists commenting on our video.
Wow.
2002. The answer was 2009.
Oh,
So,
nice.
so Jamie takes the point because he was incredibly close. To be fair, and
Jacob should have done the dickhead move and gone for 2009.
he could have done that. He would actually. That would have been horrendous if Jacob had taken the point that way. And then my second question from the wildcard round concerns Formula One. And my question is, who was the only posthumous Formula One world champion?
Oh, I should know this. I should really know this.
What are we meaning by posthumous?
As in, he was crowned champion after he died.
I should know this.
Oh.
I should know this.
Basically, he died two races before the end of the season, but he was so far ahead in the championship that he won it anyway. And
Wow.
yeah,
That's a fun, joyful question.
I thought so. I thought this will really liven up people's spirits when they listen to it.
Jacob can go first.
Yeah, we'll let Jacob have a first crack at this, given that this question's probably more towards him.
Oh, his name's escaped me. He's Austrian, isn't he?
He is Austrian. This actually is so funny to listen to now.
He was Austrian. He's not Austrian. That would be, But what's his name? That's one of those things that's going to annoy me now until you tell me. I'm going to pass it back to Jamie whilst I think.
Say,
Jamie, you've got to pick an Austrian Formula One driver, basically.
I'm not sure if I even know any Austrian Formula One drivers. Well, none that I'm aware are Austrian. Let's go with James Dean.
No.
He was Austrian.
No, don't think he was a Formula One driver, though.
But he did die in a car crash.
If you drive a car, you are a Formula One driver, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, that is incorrect. So, Jacob, I am going to push you for an answer now because I really can't be bothered to listen to you groan anymore.
Can I just have the point for getting his nationality? I think that's impressive enough.
No, you can't.
Wow, it's not Nicky somebody. It's Wolfgang, no.
No. For fear of what the noise that Jacob is going to make when I tell him, the answer is Jochen Rindt.
Oh, of course it is. I did know that.
Who died in 1970 at Monza, but was crowned champion 2 races later. So the next question, we're moving on to the NFL round, given that it is our Super Bowl special, and that is what we'll be mainly discussing today.
Super Bowl. Pass.
But my first question concerns their competition, the LA Rams, who's one of their, obviously they've got Aaron Donald, they've got, well, Cooper Kupp won't be playing, but they've got Jared Goff, they've got all these like weapons on the field, but actually at the sideline they've also got a big weapon in Sean McVay,
Absolutely.
who is the subject of my question. And the
Have you seen his wife?
No, I haven't seen his wife.
Oh my god.
Sean McVay's wife. Let's see what she looks like.
Mate, she is steaming.
Okay, I just don't even want to ever hear you say that again.
I mean, Sean McVay is not a bad-looking man himself.
No, to be fair, no, he's all right. But I haven't seen his wife. But my question to do with him is, obviously, before he came to the LA Rams, he was an offensive coordinator. But who for?
Oh, I know this. Can I go first?
Go on then, Jamie.
The Washington Redskins.
That is correct. He was the OC for the Washington Redskins between 2014 and 2016. But before he became a head coach, like most coaches in the NFL, he was actually a player in college. And for the bonus point, what position was he?
Oh, he was a wide receiver, wasn't he?
Jamie's on fire today so far. He was a wide receiver. Jamie takes a 3-0 lead early on.
He played for the Miami Hurricanes?
I didn't go that far into depth, I won't lie, but
there's that famous video where it's him playing against Julian Edelman in college, and it's like,
oh really?
It's like Miami versus Kent State.
Oh, fair.
Julian Edelman, right?
Well, that's fun.
I can tell you everything about Jim Harbaugh's college career, but nothing about Sean McVay's.
That really doesn't help us, then, does it?
No,
like, to be honest. Yeah, I do think Sean McVay could actually be a difference maker, because if there's one coach in the NFL that I'd be willing to put up against Bill Belichick, like in that regard, I do think he would have a chance.
If he doesn't win Coach of the Year, there's something really wrong.
I think we all know Mike McCarthy was the standout coach of this year.
Wow. Stand out for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
I think he's had a great season, but
what, Mike McCarthy?
No, Sean McVay. But has he really proven himself yet? He's got a group of players which has been elite over the past couple of years. He hasn't really done anything. You know, we haven't seen him when he's not had those weapons.
Okay, but
well, no, we did. It was last year.
Last year he got to the playoffs, and yeah, they did against the Rams or whatever.
No. The
Falcons,
didn't
sorry.
Change anything between 2016 and 2017, really, in terms of players. And 2016 under Jeff Fisher, they went 4-12 or whatever.
Yeah.
2017 with Sean McVay, they were like 11-5.
Yeah, they made the playoffs and got done in the wildcard round by the Falcons.
I'd still like to see him with the Patriots defense, though.
Well, yeah, if you can fix that, you really do deserve Coach of the Year. That's all I can say. And I do think he could be a difference maker come tomorrow. And you say, has he proved himself? Well, no, but I think that's what tomorrow's for. Like, he's finally got there.
We shall see.
We will. And obviously his competition, Bill Belichick, is the subject of my next question. Because I want to know, how many wins does Bill Belichick have as an NFL head coach, postseason and regular season combined?
As an NFL head coach.
As an NFL head coach.
Okay, so he's been there a bit longer than Brady.
He's not been there that much longer than Brady, though.
No, a few years though. Yeah. Jacob, you can go first. 'Cause I did kind of steal the Sean McVay question, even though I'm not sure you would have known the answer anyway.
I'm not sure I would. Let's go for something like how many wins? Hang on, how many games did they play? 200.
16 add 16 add 16 add 16. That's quick maths.
290.
You're going to go for 290.
I am going to go for 195.
Okay. The actual answer is 291. Ooh, so Jacob was ridiculously close.
Wow.
To be fair, Jamie, if you'd done the dickhead move and gone one up on him,
Yeah, but I would have never guessed it would be higher than that.
yeah,
If I'd
no.
have done the dickhead move, I would have gone for 289.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Yeah, well, what I did was 16 times 20 and then minused a bit off.
Such a sophisticated system for getting the answer to the question. Well, I think Belichick is obviously going to be a key factor as well. He wasn't able to solve Nick Foles last year. Well, he wasn't able to solve the Philly special anyway. But then again, that's because of the defense he was working with. The point is, the Pats put up 33 points and they lost. That tells you everything.
Yeah.
The Pats' defense is definitely their weak point. But Tom Brady is so special, and particularly with Bill Belichick, the plays he can come up with.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
One thing that really proved, well, two things that proved is, number one, defense really does win championships.
Mm-hmm.
And number two, the best defense is definitely not a good offense.
Did you know the story about how Bill Belichick first saw Chris Hogan play?
No.
I have not.
I'm sure you're going to tell us, though.
I'm sure it's going to be something mildly interesting that Patriots fans finding.
Yeah, it's like folklore to them.
Chris Hogan had a scholarship to Penn State as a lacrosse player and played against Rutgers, which was the college of Bill Belichick's son. So we actually saw him play lacrosse at Penn State before he transferred to Monmouth to play football, which I think is brilliant. He first saw Chris Hogan playing lacrosse and then later thought, oh, he'll be a good wide receiver. So
yes, completely transferable skills.
Well, I mean, it's interesting. It's lacrosse is a sport where you have to see the space. And what's Chris Hogan known for? He's known for being completely wide open at times.
Well, it does help when the Steelers defense capitulates.
The other side of the field.
Artie Burns, a legend, a god amongst men. Like that guy is just insanely good. And then Joe Hayden with the phantom PI calls as well.
There are a lot of transferable skills, and I think that's awareness of space has helped him in the NFL, clearly. But, I mean, it just shows what Bill Belichick can do with players who have very little experience. Before his final season in college, Chris Hogan had never played wide receiver. Before coming to the NFL, Julian Edelman had never played wide receiver, and look how good those two are.
Yeah, fair.
Incredible! It's incredible what he can do, how he can convert players. There's so many weapons on that team who can do different jobs, who can just get in there and do it. And it's interesting how he's so good at converting those players.
Well, all I'm saying is that if Chris Hogan is wide open tomorrow for a touchdown, it will still be Artie Burns' fault. Probably. He will still be to blame. So I'm going to move us on now onto the football round, soccer round, whatever we want to call it. And it concerns the FA Cup. Because obviously in the fifth round, Chelsea have drawn Manchester United in a repeat of last year's final at Wembley. And just to draw your minds back, obviously that game was won 1-0 by...
That was one of the worst FA Cup finals
It was abysmal, to be fair, and it was due to obviously Eden Hazard being brought down in the box by Phil Jones. But my question to you is, who awarded the penalty? Little shout out to my refereeing brethren there.
Ooh.
Who awarded that penalty? Obviously, I'm sure you might have seen the VAR footage of him in the build-up.
Do you want to go first?
Wow, Stuart Atwell, just because I hate him so much.
Okay, Stuart Atwell.
He's the sort of do that.
I'm gonna go.
It was a penalty.
I'm gonna go with Michael Oliver.
Okay.
That rings a vague bell.
The answer was Michael Oliver. Well done, Jamie. And
really?
yeah, Michael Oliver. It was his one, because the thing is, referees, you only get one FA Cup final. It's one of those things. You only get to do it once. So I actually feel bad for him because he got such a crappy one, considering two fantastic
he did
teams.
It well.
Oh, he did. He did a phenomenal job, and obviously he gave the key match incident. He got it right. and it was a penalty. And he also got it right that it wasn't a red card because it would have been double jeopardy if he'd given that. So he did a phenomenal job, and obviously got the key match incident right, and the correct team won, because realistically Man United were a little bit terrible overall with that. But yeah, it was Michael Oliver who gave it. He was actually my favourite referee in the Premier League at the moment.
He is good.
He is good. Stuart Atwell, I don't think has had an FA Cup final yet. He does not seem like the type to be up there.
He doesn't deserve to be a referee.
Ouch.
I'm still salty about that. I'm still salty. When was it?
It was years ago, yeah.
2008?
Yeah. But yeah, you only get the one, so if he maybe he'll get
I'm still salty about that.
maybe he'll get the 2019. At least if he gets this year's, then he won't be able to have another one. But yeah, it's just kind of so that they all get a chance. But not every referee gets it. Like, even though there's only ever like 16 at a time, like obviously they won't all get through in their career span. So yeah, that's obviously quite an honour for them.
What is the average career span of a Premier League ref?
Oh, I'd say, obviously, because the top ones, like Webb and Clattenburg of recent memory, obviously they both left quite early. I think they did sort of 10 years or so. Yeah. I'd probably say 10, 15 years, unless you do a Bobby Madley and start being ableist on Snapchat, in which case that'll cut your career short for you.
Wow.
But
he was shocking, though.
I didn't actually have a problem with him, really. I thought Bobby Madley, he had that horrendous incident. I think it was Bournemouth versus Burnley last year with the offside decision, where he went to the linesman and then he got it wrong with the linesman. It was a travesty.
He did also have that dodgy incident where he gave a penalty for handball in the Leicester Tottenham FA Cup game in 2016,
and it wasn't.
It clearly wasn't handball.
Oh dear.
And it resulted in them scoring a penalty which made it 2-2, which made it go to a replay which we lost. Which we could have won, but I was still salty and will still remain salty.
I find it hard for you to claim over a replay. Not even that you lost the game on the penalty, it just resulted in a draw that you then lost an entirely different game. I find that hard to take. But
that's how
football fans, eh? And then my next question, moving away from the refereeing, but we move into the Scottish Prem. But which Scottish Premier League team also shares its name with the United States of America founding father?
Hamilton.
Oh, that was fast. I thought you'd get it. But I wasn't expecting it to be that fast. But yeah,
there's not that many teams to go through. Yeah,
Hamilton Academical.
No.
Yeah,
Dundee United. No.
Yeah, but you're not going to go through it that fast. But yeah, Hamilton Academical are the team.
I can, George. Oh yes, I can.
All right, calm it down. I just find the Scottish Prem so first of all, it's the fact that it's so top heavy, which makes it incredibly uninteresting, but also the way it splits the fixtures, it splits the table in half, and then they all play each other that way, and it's this is horrible.
It's very odd. Although this season, it's been quite close at the top, hasn't it?
Yeah, there was I know Kilmarnock were doing really well
you got
for a while.
Celtic, Rangers, Aberdeen and Kilmarnock all could very easily win it, although Celtic are a bit far ahead.
Celtic will win it, ultimately.
Ultimately they will.
They will.
But for the fact that Kilmarnock could is interesting.
Yeah, the magic of Brendan Rodgers. Okay, so we'll move on from that now. On to the geography of sport round, which is actually still football based. It has to be said. And this is the one question in this quiz in which it will basically be a two-choice answer. And I want to know: is the distance between the Super Classico rivals Boca Juniors and River Plate?
What? I've never heard of either of those.
You've never heard of Boca Juniors or River Plate?
No.
Oh, Jesus Christ. See, I thought this was going to be... My bad. Well, okay. There are... So, to just fill Jamie in quickly, there are two teams in South America called Boca Juniors and River Plate, and their rivalry is known as the Super Classico. It's actually it's one of the fiercest rivalries in the world. It normally results in horrendous violence, from what I understand. It's quite quite hefty. But I want to know: is the distance between them greater or less than the distance between the Tyne and Wear rivals Newcastle and Sunderland?
I'm going to go for less than.
And Jamie's got no chance of knowing if he doesn't even know Boca Juniors and River Plate
obviously, if Jacob goes for less than, I will I will do the chivalrous.
You will be
thing.
honourable gentleman,
I will
yes.
go for more than.
Okay, well, it is actually less than 9 miles. 9 miles rather than 14. So it's actually quite close. And that brings Jacob just 1 point behind Jamie.
Ooh.
Um,
Well, of course, they're in the same city, aren't they, Buenos Aires? Whereas
yeah.
Newcastle and Sunderland are in different cities. It's interesting how popular football is in Buenos Aires. It's the city with the most professional football clubs in the world. I think it's something like 26 or something.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Isn't it? Yeah.
And several of them get attendances of 40, 50,000. So
Do they have their own league?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
well, most
as
of
in
the,
like the Buenos Aires
Argentine-
league.
Most of the Argentine division is based in Buenos Aires, which is
Yeah.
incredible.
I mean,
Right,
Boca Juniors and River Plate normally end up as the finalists of the Copa Libertadores. So, that has often been a final for that competition. So, you know. But
I love
that's
your knowledge of South American football, Jamie. It's really impressive.
See, I thought you were going to genuinely compliment me for a second, and I was about to feel validated, but no, you just wanted to on Jamie a little bit more.
Who's winning? Who's winning?
Or we'll see for how much longer. But yeah, considering you say about the fact that it's all in the same city, whereas Newcastle and Sunderland are like two separate cities, yet the distance there was only a gap of 5 miles.
It's true. It's true. It's a big
close.
city, Buenos Aires.
Yeah. So our next question concerns the NHL, which obviously last week was a bit of a shit show, it has to be said, for everyone involved, as none of you, neither of you knew about the number 1 draft pick, Austin Matthews. So I've decided to go a little bit broader this week. And I want to know which NHL team, founded in 1991, was the first team in the San Francisco Bay Area since the Golden Seals relocated to Cleveland in 1976.
Was the Sharks, surely, right?
It was the San Jose Sharks, yes. And for the bonus point, how many Stanley Cup finals have they played in?
I'll leave this one to Jamie, unfortunately. That's where my knowledge ends.
Okay, so I think they won it a few years ago. Well, I say a few, like at least 10. And obviously they lost to the Penguins, 3 years ago? So, I don't know, let's say like 5.
The answer is 1. They've only played in 1 Stanley Cup final, and it was the one they lost to the Penguins.
I did not know that.
Yeah, they have not had a lot of success since 1991. I mean, their team was
go
like
for 1 then.
shut up. They had this line of like Pavelski and Thornton and people like that. They had Thomas Hertel for a bit. Like they were okay, but the thing is, they had this. It was the first year I started watching the NHL. They had the Kings in the first round, and they went 3-0 up in the series and lost 4-3. And that kind of said everything. Like, it was like the 3rd time it had happened in history that had happened in the playoffs. And like that sort of just killed all the Sharks' momentum. They've been awful recently. I think they've got Peter DeBoer as their manager now. Like, they are appalling. Yeah. And the thing is, the Kings actually went on to win the Stanley Cup that year. After coming down from 3-0, they beat the Rangers in 5 games. And I think that just... their dominance of the California area has just been brilliant ever since. I mean, Anaheim just aren't even worth looking at the moment. So yeah, San Jose, one of those legacy of failure type teams, sadly.
Yeah.
Moving on to our final round, the statistical round.
Ooh.
And these both concern the NFL, given that I think I had to give that a greater weight in today's episode, given that the Super Bowl will be the main talking point, I'm sure, next week as well. And the first question I want to ask is, how many points have been scored in every Super Bowl combined?
Wow.
Oh my God.
I know. I thought that was a fantastic question when I was like, that. No, come on. No, who's going to know that? Surely.
I'm going first in this because Jacob's gone first in a lot of the.
That's
ones.
cool. Yeah, that's cool.
Well, the recent ones at least. Okay. Okay, we've got to remember that the early Super Bowls were all like generally pretty low scoring. So if we say like,
I'm saying nothing.
Okay, if we say like 30 average in the old ones, whereas at the minute it's more like 40. So if we go for 35 times 50, so what?
Again, your math.
I'm going to go for 2,000. Just
I was going to go for 1,750.
Okay. Are those your final answers?
yes.
Okay. The actual number is 2,434. It would have you'd have actually been closer going off of 2,500. So yeah, definitely more in the recent ones. And there is a bonus point available. Obviously, Jacob takes the point on that one. The bonus point is available if you can tell me which Super Bowl had the most, or which Super Bowl had the least.
Most points scored.
Yeah, most points scored in an individual game, or
Probably
least
the last one.
or least points in an individual game. It's not actually. I think that came fourth.
Okay.
Although that obviously, like, how many was that? 74. So
Yeah.
that is quite high.
There have been some high-scoring Super Bowls throughout history, but it's interesting how many great Super Bowls there have been. Maybe teams just step it up a little bit for that big game.
Well, this one actually only had the most had 75 points in it.
But what? So the most had 75.
Yeah, the most had 75.
Well, the one last year had 74, didn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's very close at the top. There's it's sandwiched up at the top of the list.
It's going to be an early one for the lowest. Let's go for something like Super Bowl 7. I don't know.
Jacob, you jammy bastard.
Has he got it?
He actually has.
Oh, that's what's it? Can I get a bonus point if I tell you that it was Dolphins beating the Redskins?
You know what? Yeah, you can actually. I'm just giving points out left, right, and centre now. Yeah, yeah. The Dolphins beat the Redskins 14 points to 7. I'm just giving points. This is like, have I got news for you now? I'm just giving points out for everything. But that was good extra knowledge there. I'll give you that. So Jacob currently leads 6-5, unless obviously
was it either at the Orange Bowl or Tulane Stadium.
Unfortunately, I mean, I see why you'd go for that, but unfortunately, I don't know. Either of you know which one had the most, though? I'm not going to tell you which the teams were, because otherwise Jamie will be able to work it out from that. So,
I want to say maybe, what's it? Super Bowl 20, Bears Patriots. I seem to remember that had a lot.
No, because the Patriots had a very low score that game.
Oh yeah, sorry, it was just the Bears that scored.
I love how you're completely baiting you there. Right, I'm just gonna give it to you. The answer is Super Bowl 29. It was between the 49ers and the Chargers. Yep, absolutely. And it finished 49-26 to the 49ers, and that was the most. So, the scores stand with one question to go. It is 6-5 to Jacob. Obviously, if Jamie gets this one, I might have to very quickly come up with some sort of bonus question to give us a winner.
Make it exciting.
But
let me get this one, Jake.
This is a numerical one as well. So I want this. This is a total of 3 different numbers. Okay.
Okay.
So I need
it's like the beer.
Yeah, exactly. I need you to add those numbers together. So this is between Goff and Brady, obviously the 2 Super Bowl quarterbacks for this Sunday night.
Yeah.
So these numbers concern Goff and Brady. So I want the total of their difference in draft position, their combined Super Bowl rings, and their combined career touchdowns.
Ooh, the last one's gonna screw with it.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, always save the best till last.
Okay, so I'm gonna say, well, combined Super Bowl rings is obviously Brady's 5. Difference.
Oh, the way you're just giving him the answers, even though it's easy, but
Jacob knows them anyway. Draft difference is going to be 199 minus 1, which is 198.
Wow, quick maths.
So it's 203 at the combined career touchdowns, which I'm going to say is about, 40 times 20 for Brady? So like 800. And then for Goff, maybe like 100, so 900. So I'm going to go for 1,103.
Is this passing and rushing touchdowns?
I could only say combined career touchdowns.
Okay, yeah. Okay. I guess I'll go for 980.
The answer is 785.
Damn it.
Yeah. Sorry, Jamie. Yeah, he screwed you over at the end there. There clearly weren't that many touchdowns.
Overestimated the touchdown.
You overestimated Brady, which is what so many people Well, no, people underestimate Brady. I got that the wrong way round.
Let's hope
But,
Jacob is overestimating what Brady will do tomorrow night.
Yeah. Let's hope the entire Patriots fan base do.
What I'd like is for all three of us to do a score prediction and see how.
I agree with that.
That's a good idea.
I mean, the thing is, like, with this, I'm okay at doing just predictions, whether it's going to be Rams, Patriots, whether it will go to overtime or not. But as soon as you give me scores, I'll just get it completely wrong. Like, it's going to be quite a high-scoring affair because the Patriots' defense is utter and the Patriots' offense is fantastic. Although, to be fair, the I saw some statistics the other day that the Brady's passing stats from edge pressure is 7 touchdowns to 0 interceptions, but his pass this season. But to interior pressure, it's 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions, and the Rams have the best interior pressure defense of the entire league.
Aaron Donald.
I mean, the statistic I sent you earlier in the season, where it was like Aaron Donald has the most sacks in the league despite having been double teamed on 77% of his snaps. Like, that is scary. That is actually frightening that he gets double teamed and still has the most sacks in the league. That, like, either O-lines are getting worse or that man is just a beast.
I think it's a bit of both.
And I think that could be the difference. So I'm going to go 35-30 to the Rams.
What about you, Jamie?
Do I go for what I want to happen or what?
That's it. See, I'm going more for what I want to happen. I do believe that if Goff turns up and the Patriots' defense doesn't, like I expect it to, that the Rams will win.
I'm going to say 28-21 Rams.
Okay, 28-21 Rams.
Well, I think whilst the defense can be very shaky for the Patriots, Tom Brady's just magic, isn't he?
Funny you should say that.
With the players that he has around him, the performances that have been put in on the offensive side of the ball in the playoffs, I'm going to have to go with the Patriots, I think. I'll probably go 40-34.
Okay, so you're going for another high-scoring one, then.
Oh, yeah.
See, the only reason why I don't agree with Jamie is because I cannot see the Patriots only scoring 21 points. Unless the Rams' defense really ramps it up on them. I just can't see that happening. And then for Jacob, I can't see the Rams' defense giving up 40 points either. Like, I
could against Tom Brady in that situation.
I think it
could very easily happen.
I mean, first snap of the game, Donald tears an ACL, yeah, maybe. But, like, if that doesn't happen, I just don't see it. And I think, to be honest, of the 4 main units on that field, I think the crucial one is going to be the Rams' defense. Because we know the Patriots' offense is fantastic. We know the Patriots' defense is awful. We know the Rams' offense is fantastic. So it will come down to how well the Rams shut down Tom Brady. That will be.
I think one thing that will help Brady is this season there's been a serious improvement in the way the Patriots' offensive line has performed, and I think that will seriously help him. They've really stepped up from last year where they were looking very shaky.
Yeah.
And in the playoffs especially, they've been great. So I think that will seriously help them.
Did we just do our hashtag keys to the game? Can't wait to see what Jeff Reinbold's are tomorrow night. All I can say is then, before we sign off, that go Rams, first of all. And that honestly, all I hope is that it's a good Super Bowl. Really, like I just don't want it to be Super Bowl 48 again. That's just what no one wants. We don't want a blowout. We want 2 very good teams. Ultimately, I want the Rams to win, but I don't want them to have won by the end of the first half. Like,
if it's a blowout, I'll be very surprised because they're 2 good teams. With good players all over the field. And it should be entertaining, particularly with the offenses that both teams have. So we'll see.
It'd be nice if we could finish a 1-score game at most. That would be. I think that would be a fair end to this season. Although the playoffs haven't been particularly great this year,
Well, I'd like the Patriots to win by 100, but I don't think it's going to.
Not if the Rams actually go on the field. Well, I'm sure we'll post a quick reaction thing the morning after the Super Bowl, but until then, I guess we can only speculate and wait and see what happens. So we all look forward to it. All right.
Happy Super Bowl.
Bye, everybody.
Damn.